The ghost of electricity howls in the bones of her face. Electricity. It's all about that, really. But scientists profess not to know about, well, much about it. And I'm so kind of on the brink of believing them, but I know they know the basics, which are not focused on and should be. Electromagnetism, static electricity. That's what it's all about. Everything's electric, and we're all influenced by fields of electricity and magnetism. Who was that? Was an 18th century Mason, Newton. Yeah, if he did exist, he pretended or tried to and failed to explain why things drop to the earth. Well, to me, it's bloody obvious. You don't need anything, a theory to explain that. Then you don't, centuries later, you don't need to build a multi-million-pound piece of equipment to detect that. That is not science. That is, well, it's pseudoscience, to put it mildly. It's religion. It's like building Lincoln Cathedral to get closer to God, who doesn't exist. You see what I mean? It's bullshit. Now, I'm not saying God doesn't exist, but certainly the Christian God. How come there's a Christian God, a Muslim God, a God that serves the Jews, one that serves the Hindus? Well, actually, there's several that serve the Hindus, but that's just about. I think they've got it. I think they're more realistic about their gods, as were the ancient Greeks and Romans. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because it doesn't really matter. It's all like gravity. It's just conjecture, and there's no proof. Even though they detected the planet moving, was it half an atom to the left? Now, I have a massive problem with that. I really do. I think that is. It's like, again, building a cathedral and saying, yes, we are closer to God. Half an atom closer, maybe. Now, it's quite easy to observe. By the way, it is 8:30 in the morning. Yes, I've got a candle lit and it's dark. Well, it's not dark, but there's no sunshine. I said on the other vlog that I wouldn't see any sunlight. Of course we see sunlight. We just can't actually see the sun. There's a orange ball in the sky, yellow or orange or sometimes green ball in the sky. Yeah, and obviously it's just dull. That's all. It's the middle of January, so yeah. Nice cup of coffee, black, no sugar. Thank you very much. Now, okay, gravity is nonsense. It's buoyancy and density that bring things back. See, in space there is no up or down, but space doesn't actually exist. The space in your cupboards, if you've got any, that exists, yeah, but not the vacuum of space in the infinite universe. That is theory, and it's a really poor one, as in it can be dismissed by logical thinking, let alone anything else. But there is But in space, there's no up, there's no down. Yet we never see this in reality because that's illogical nonsense. So there you go. That's space dismissed and dealt with. Thank you very much. So yeah, when practical examples of finding out that the Earth is not a spinning ball can be done over any body of water, a big enough body of water that is not a river, really. You don't really want a river because it's flowing. Even when it looks really still and deep, maybe, it is still on the move. Maybe a captured part of the river, like in a dam situation, would be better, but then they're never that massive, really. Kielder Reservoir, which I mentioned the last time, is fairly big, but there are no long stretches where you can see 4 miles in a straight line, which you kind of really need 4 miles because the imaginary curve is obviously quite shallow, so you would need a long straight body of water in order not to be able to detect it. So you can't prove a negative, but you can prove it isn't there. So that's what I would suggest doing. Now, I've had this thought running around in my head for a bit, and it's just anecdotal, and but it is interesting. Many years ago, I used to live on an island called Sandy in the outer isles, the northern isles of Orkney, and it's a very, very lovely place. It's a long story why I've come back, but anyway, there's a point on Sandy in Burness. There's a north end, the south end, and Burness, and we lived in Burness, but we didn't live actually at this point. But there's a place called White Mill Bay, and you can look this up on maps, and then you look north, and you're looking towards Shetland. Now, on a very clear day, you were able to see an island called Foula, Foula, I think it's spelled. Now, you could tell it was Foula because there's nothing to the left of it. Now, if you looked more east, you would see, sorry, more west. What am I saying? More to the west, when you located Foula, you could see Fair Isle, which is closer. But Foula happens to be 55 miles from where we were viewing on the beach. Now, Sandy, if you know Sandy, it doesn't rise out of the water, certainly in Burness and the south end, very far at all, just a few meters. Even though we were on the beach when we were observing this, and we were being shown this by somebody who had been there a lot longer than we had at the time. And she was saying, you can tell it's not Fair Isle because what I've just said to you. There's Fair Isle, that's Foula. How can you see it? Now, she wasn't saying the Earth's flat or anything like that, but I was like, I must admit, I was, how many miles is it? And it was 55 miles. And how big's how tall out of the water's the island? Now, she couldn't answer that question, but it doesn't rise out of the ocean very far, or out of the sea very far. Might be the North Atlantic up there, wouldn't it? Now, again, I didn't think, oh, well, the Earth's flat then, because I never give it really a second thought. I just thought that's amazing to be able to see that far. It was a beautiful day. The water up there is crystal clear, actually, when it's not being stirred up by storms. You know, you can see the bottom for a long way down. And because the sand is so white, like sugar almost, it reflects the sun the light back up. Therefore, you can see the seabed, and it's a lovely place. I recommend it if you want to go. If you like walking and great views and the wind, it's definitely a place for you. Now, that is an example. Like I say, it's only anecdotal, but you could do it, and you could check out those figures also. Now, the other thing that's been on my mind is light. Now, the astronauts or the actonauts, when they have pretended to go to outer space, they can't get the story right. They can't all conform about whether you can see stars or not. I don't think you can see stars when you get up further in the thinner reaches of the atmosphere. Atmosphere plane. The footage that we see from rockets and balloons, amateur rockets and weather balloons, etc., show no stars whatsoever. Never have. And we are told that stars are suns, or our sun is a star. And most of the stars we see are average size. And I've said this before, okay, I'm going to say it again. So most of the stars we see are average size suns, as ours is, apparently, but not apparently. So they say, which, anyway, it's certainly not. And this is how you can tell. The sun, the light of our sun takes 8 minutes to get here. 8 minutes. So, if you push it twice as far away, it would take 16 minutes. So it's twice as far away. It's twice half the size. Yeah. So you push it 30 minutes, half an hour away, and what size is it then? Well, if it's a quarter of the size it is now. You see where I'm going with this? So that's just half an hour. That's a light half hour. A light 30 minutes. So you push it 24 hours away. Now what size is the sun? Well, it's 48 times smaller. In other words, can you still see it? Well, none of our stars are a light day away. They're usually a light year or more away, and a lot more, some of them. So if you pushed our sun a light year away, you couldn't see it. Now I'm saying you couldn't see it because it's logical and obvious. So there you go. So none of the stars in the sky are any further away than certainly if you're going to count in light increments, light minutes, seconds, then I wouldn't say they're much further away than the sun. That's logic. It's not pseudoscience. It's not bullshit. It's just observation, using your head, using the most sophisticated device that we know of, the human mind, to calculate if we could see stars. Now, the actonauts and the astronauts, they're reading a script. They have an agenda to follow. Otherwise, their wives would be killed. They'd be exposed for the naughty things they did, etc. They've got them over a barrel, so they have to comply. We don't. We can work this thing out logically, and there's a good start.